to take a little time to talk about the basics of piccolo plangle. I would say that the basics of piccolo playing kind of eluded me for a number of years. I used to have a larger piccolo. This is a Schilke P54. I used to have the Yamaha copy of this, which is a larger bore, and I think in retrospect might have been harder for me to start on than to start on this. That being said, there's lots of different piccolos out there. I grew up listening to Maurice Andre. Now, Maurice Andre plays a tank. So if this is a Ferrari, Maurice Andre was playing a tank. It's the Selmer piccolo that you see in all the photos with him. That's a very, very open instrument, which is part of the reason why he gets such a juicy, fat sound. That juiciness and fatness is a little bit confusing and certainly led me down the wrong path. When you pick up the piccolo, you want to make the clearest, brightest, spinningest sound possible. In this room, playing the beginning of the Reiche, it's a lot brighter than when you hear it in Symphony Hall. So just be aware that that's something that you've got to allow for. So for years I sort of dabbled at the piccolo, and Tom Rolfs always was saying to me, well, I play piccolo every trumpet every day, why don't you? And I was like, I'm not very good at it. And I would play it for auditions, and when we played Petrushka, the Ghost, I would play it at the end of Petrushka, and it was always fine, but the harder piccolo excerpts like Magnificat, Christmas Oratorio, B minor Mass, always felt really difficult to me until I sort of made peace with the idea that, first of all, I needed the right setup with my mouthpiece and my piccolo, and I needed the right sound concept. So the way that I got to that was actually sort of through all the things I was doing on my big horns, which was always looking for a leaner, clearer sound. So I'm just going to play for you now what I play for my piccolo routine. I finished warming up about a half an hour ago, and this is what I do, which is it's another form of the Jacob's flow studies. I'm not trying to make a big sound. I'm just trying to play straight through the middle of the sun. That's where my sound resonates, is in that spot. So one thing to remember when you're playing the piccolo trumpet is that even though I just played a low A flat on A piccolo, it's not a low A flat. And now I have to think about what the actual transposition is. I don't even know. I think that's a concert C. I should know these things. Anyway, it's a much higher note than low A flat. So for instance, if I'm playing a low C on the piccolo, it's actually an A on the C trumpet. So yeah, I have that part figured out. I have the same mechanics on the piccolo that I have on my C trumpet or my B flat trumpet. I'm trying to take a big full breath. I'm trying to fill up my barrel. Play with fast air. hear a brilliant, clear sound. Not unlike my regular warm-up, as I get higher on this, I get more active. Again, I'm making sure that my back is not overly tight, my shoulders are not coming up, and as I let go of my air, as I'm moving the air up and out, my shoulders are coming down as much as possible. I kind of lost my place there. Sounded, and I didn't like the pitch, and the reason all those things were there was because I was way too open when I started. So I have to get more organized with my setup, breathe, set, play. So the mistakes that you make on the big horn, where your breathe, set, play is a little sloppy, and you get, what I call first ball in, that's really not going to work on a piccolo. And I think that's why I was so weak at the piccolo for so long, was that I would start way too open. Like I was playing in this case, an E at the bottom of the staff instead of a C sharp in this staff. See, I think that's right. It should be really bright at the top. It should not be fat and juicy. The room is what makes it fat and juicy, not this room. In order for these extreme higher notes to come out easily for me, I really have to inflate. So I'm really concentrating on pushing my lungs out to four corners, down to the points of my hips and all the way up through my collarbone. Sharp didn't quite come out there, which is no big deal. I'm just going to go on. The same thing happens on the next one. That means I'm done with my little piccolo routine for now. So that's my daily piccolo routine. I try to get to it every day. If I don't get to it every day, I try to do it 5 days a week. After you do that, you need to let your chops settle, because that's a lot of pressure in a very small area. So they might be a little bit puffy at this point. So go have a cup of coffee, drink of water, and come back and do a little bit of practicing later.